What's going on, people? So today I wanted to talk about ND filters. I kind of wanted to do that today and go outside and give you some footage, but instead of nice sunny weather here in Atlanta, we have sadness, just rain and grayness. But I think I might have an idea. Alright, so instead of being here in cold Atlanta, we are here in sunny Mexico, and as you can see, blown out highlights in the background. So let's talk about, alright, so we're in sunny Mexico. There are two filters that we want to check out. So I already told you how to get the LensMate filter adapter onto the RX100 so you could put any 52mm lens onto the camera. But the two lenses that we want to talk about are one reasonably priced Hoya filter, and then the other one is a super cheap Gobe filter. Now, I came across the Hoya after doing some recommendations. There's a bunch of people recommend either Tiffin, a lot of people recommend Hoya. Peter McKinnon shoots with Hoya. If you don't know who Peter McKinnon is, he's a pretty big YouTuber. You should go look him up. Probably the fastest growing YouTuber out there, and his stuff just looks phenomenal. But I wanted to see if there was a difference in using the Gobe filter. So I've been using the Hoya filter for a long time. Gobe kind of positions themselves as a super organic, earthy, sustainable company, so they're trying to make a play on that. So let's put the two together. There's a bunch of sunny stuff around here. Go meet up with the wife and the kids and see what they're doing on the beach and see how both of these compare. Sorry, before we do that, let's open them up. So I've used the Hoya ones already open. I've used this a bunch of times. It comes in a little plastic case, and that's the filter in there. Let me open it up here. And then, as you can see, I actually have it. It screws on. This is actually the adapter. I have it on the adapter. It screws on to the adapter. It's pretty thick. It's pretty nice. I keep it on there all the time. And then it has that is the lightest setting, and then as you turn it, as you can see, it gets darker, and that's how you're able to adjust your shots on the fly. Gobe filter here, let's open it up and see what it looks like on the inside. Finally, a little Ziploc bag, cleaning cloth, super helpful. Already winning on the Gobe band. Ooh, I like this case too. Little Gobe case there, and oh yeah, this holds the filter a lot better. Alright, profile on the, and I've read this online too, so the profile on the Gobe filter is a little bit thinner, so that might make it a little bit harder to turn, but you just can see there it does the same thing. It also looks a little bit more reflective than the other one. And the darkness of the Gobe filter is a lot darker, so it might be beneficial for me to keep both of these. But anyway, let's put them together and see how they compare. Just to kind of give an example, this is in my room. We didn't get the good room view, but this is just with the filter on. As you can see, you can't see any sky. Highlights are completely blown out, but just with a little twist. And you can see my face did get darker, but the sky just came back in. So again, no sky, sky. So let's go run some other tests and see how it goes. Alright, super windy out here. I was on the beach getting some drone shots. I just wanted to put the filters together real quick. I don't have much time left, so I'm trying to make the best of our beach day. Super windy. I don't even know if you can hear this, but I'm gonna get some shots of this over here, which probably already looks a little bit overexposed. I'm gonna shoot it in S-Log with the Hoya filter and with the Gobe filter. Last test shot with both filters. I wanted to get something with a little bit more color in it. And there's a little kids pool here. I think they just turned it off, so it's perfect. There's no kids in there. That has a richness of different colors. You can check it out. those are my 3 test shots for the 2 filters. Get them back in post and grade them and see how they look. So let's go back to the A right now. Still have my glasses on. So we are back in Atlanta. So those were our 3 test shots that we did while we were down in sunny Mexico with the better weather than we had here in Atlanta. So yeah, those were the 3 shots that we did. Quick correction, I know when I was there I said I was shooting in X-Log. The first 2 shots were actually done in Hyperlog Gamma, which is a Sony profile. It's supposed to be their HDR profile. It's a Rec 2020 color space, so it's a little bit different. Once you transfer it over into Rec 709, it actually looks really good. It's a nice flat profile and it's easier to grade than S-Log. That'll be a different video to come, but I just wanted to make that correction real quick. But yeah, here are the 2 filters. So as I said before, the Gobe filter is a little bit overall thicker, but once you have it screwed in, the profile here is a little bit thinner as far as when you are turning it. And then I did find that it was a little bit harder to turn. So there's pros and cons to that. When you are moving on the fly, it is a little bit harder to turn it when it's on the camera, but it does stay in place a little bit better, so it holds your shots there. Overall, I think I will end up keeping both of these. The Hoya filter, I just had great experience shooting with it for the time that I have. The Gobe filter is a little bit darker, so it does give you a little bit more range in terms of if it's really bright outside, it could get darker. You see that on the second shot that we did. And then you can also see that if you want to get into, I'm not into long exposure photography, but if you wanted to get into something like that, the Gobe filter would definitely be a better option than the Hoya. Get back over to the computer screen and look at the 3 test shots that we did. I'm not going to color grade them in terms of changing the colors, but I will change the dynamic range and bring out some contrast, just a basic color correction just to get them looking decent, and then we can compare them. Here are the 3 test shots. The comparison number 1 is just the 2 filters side by side. This shot I thought was just a good shot. I was down on the beach getting some drone footage, and it has a nice mixture of different colors. You have some lighter colors with the sand and the sky, some of the towels. Then you have some greens and some yellows in the trees and some shadows in the background there. Hoya filter, like I said, I've been using it for a while. I've been definitely impressed with the colors that I get. It doesn't get as dark as the Gobe filter, but it 100% gets the job done in bright conditions. Yeah, so this is what we have here, and this is with the little bit of color correction. Like I said, just added some contrast there to bring the colors out. Then we have the Gobe filter here. As you can see, it has a little bit more range to it. It gets a little bit brighter and a little bit darker. I adjusted it kind of to be the same in terms of the settings in the camera. Exposure in the camera, at least is what the meters were telling me in terms of exposure. So it should be about the same. I don't see that big of a color shift or a color difference using the Gobe. It's definitely a usable image. The image is not too soft and there's not too much vignetting. I think with both of them, or in any ND filter footage that I've seen before, on the edges there's always a little bit of darkness. I'm not sure why that is, I'm not an expert, but I've seen that on all ND filters, but you're not really seeing any vignetting with any of these 2. And then here's a quick side-by-side comparison. You could see, I think the blues are a little bit different on the Gobe filter, as well as the darkness is a little bit darker, but nothing that you can't fix in post, or nothing that if I didn't have anything to compare it to, I'd feel like I was losing out on anything. And then for shot number 2, it was kind of an impromptu shot, but I was actually shooting something else. I was looking directly into the sun and I wanted to see how much, if I was able to expose anything at all, because the shot was completely blown out. You could see in the first clip here, the Hoya filter does okay in terms of getting the job done, but when you turned it a little bit too much, like in this clip here, you're starting to get the X's in the middle. That's when the filter gets its max darkness and the 2 rings are overlapping each other. Then you get these X's in the line. So the filter on the Hoya filter couldn't manage the brightness of the sun here. And then we can see on this Gobe shot you have complete brightness, completely washed out, and then with a quick turn we're able to get back there. There's some darkness on the edges, but not too much in the middle of the image. One more time, just darken it up, lighten it up there, and then here are the two images side by side. Again, the Gobe filter was able to get a little bit darker without having too much X's or too much vignetting overall. I think there, just right there, you can see it start to get a little bit dark in the edges, but again, it does give you a little bit more range. And then last clip was just of this kid's pool. It has a little bit more colors, a lot more yellows, greens. You have that pink thing on that slide right there, and then we have the sky in the background. And yeah, I think both of these do well also. The blues, again, on the Gobe filter, I think are just a tad bit darker. This shot was actually shot in S-Log. I didn't change, again, didn't grade it. All I did was pull out the dynamic range and just kind of de-logged the footage, quote unquote. And yeah, those are your 3 test shots. Hopefully you like them. So those were the 3 test shots. Hopefully you like them. My experience from looking at both filters, I really like the Hoya filter. However, at the cost of the Gobe filter being almost half the cost of the Hoya filter, I really think it is worth the value. I didn't see too much of a difference in colors or image that you were getting. Of course, the main concern when it is that you're using an ND filter, anything in front of any lens, is that you're putting glass in front of glass. Now, of course, I'm just on a point and shoot. I'm on the Sony RX100 Mark VI, but it is still a quality camera with quality Sony Zeiss lens, so you don't want to be putting cheap glass in front of your quality lens. However, the Gobe filter at whatever the cost was, I think when I got it was $29.99, was more than acceptable of an image. It was a little bit darker. It does give you the flexibility in terms of doing long exposure photography. So it's definitely something I would recommend if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend for a Hoya or for a Tiffin. And I definitely think any shifts in colors, the slight shift in colors that you might get, is definitely fixable in a color grade. I did do a quick recap video for the family, and some of the footage was with the Gobe filter. It came out just fine. So yeah, I definitely recommend Hoya. A ton of people recommend Hoya, obviously, Polar Pro, Tiffin, all those. But if you want to save a little bit of money and you want to be on budget and you're thinking about getting a cheaper ND filter, you could definitely buy with confidence and know that you could get a good image with the Gobe filter. So that's my small review, that's my small comparison. Hopefully you liked it, hopefully it added some value to your buying process. You could check the links out down below and see what the prices are via Amazon. There is a small kickback, disclosure, transparency, all that good stuff. More to come. Of course, I said before, this is Creative Tech Lab, where we cover all things creative. Look for some audio and music production stuff coming up, as well as some special guest interviews. Thank you for checking out this video. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and I will catch you in the next one.